The year is 109, the place Anatolia. Rome has just annexed Armenia, but the real battle is over. Tigran II, king of Armenia, has been defeated and is dead. His sons have fled. The Roman legions are advancing, and the situation is hopeless. But wait, what is this? Atop a hill overlooking the plain, there's a fortress, a last stronghold where 800 Armenian nobles have gathered with their families, women, children, all of them. And inside the fortress, King Artashes II is pacing back and forth, deep in thought. Artashes is a good man, a brave man, a pious man. He came to power by defeating his brother in a civil war. Now he's known throughout the land as a wise and fair ruler, though some say he's a bit too fond of wine. And yet now that the end is nigh, Artashes is ready to do something that will shock the world. Something so strange, so extreme, so utterly baffling that historians to this day can't quite wrap their heads around it. He is going to make everyone drink poison, including himself. You see, Artashes is a paranoid man. He's constantly worried about being betrayed or assassinated, so much so that while he trusts most of his court and army, he subjects them to endless loyalty tests, little tasks to prove their faithfulness. But those he considers suspicious, he really puts through hell. And no one is more suspicious than Tigranes, his own son, who he believes has ambitions to usurp him. And so it is that when King Artashes gathers his court, army, and family, all 800 strong, ostensibly for a last stand against the Romans, he knows that only one of them can truly be trusted. So he decides that the rest must go. All except Tigranes. They will die by drinking poison, the surest way to ensure absolute loyalty from the one remaining. And then King Artashes goes down in history as the mad king who forced everyone to drink poison. But was he mad? Scholars have put forward many reasons why King Artashes would force everyone, including himself, to drink poison. Perhaps he was superstitious, having heard some dire prophecy about his future. Or maybe his advisors pressured him, saying that this was the only way to save face after his defeat. Or perhaps he was simply a master manipulator, knowing that in the end, only Tigranes would survive to inherit his kingdom. Whatever the reason, the king called everyone together under the pretense of having one last great feast, a celebration of sorts. And he invited his son Tigranes and his daughter-in-law, both of whom had fled to this fortress, hoping to escape the Romans. The unsuspecting nobles arrived with their ladies and children. They feasted, they drank, they made merry. Then when the time was right, the king got up on a chair and announced, "My lords and ladies, the hour has come to put our loyalty to the ultimate test." Then with a wave of his hand, soldiers came forward bearing golden goblets, each filled to the brim with a dark red liquid. With trembling hands, they distributed the goblets to each noble and lady, one by one, until every cup was taken. "Drink," said the king, his voice booming, "and prove your faithfulness." What followed can only be described as carnage. Some nobles refused, flinging the goblets to the ground. Others cried out, "What treachery is this?" Still, others drank, some willingly, others not. The king stood watching, his face impassive, until every goblet was drained. Then immediately, those who drank fell to their knees, clutching their stomachs. They writhed in pain, blood pouring from their mouths, and collapsed, dead. Many blamed the king, cursing his name as they expired. Those who refused were beheaded by soldiers, along with the children who had looked on in confusion and horror. Only Tigranes and his wife survived, both of them stricken with grief and horror at the carnage they had witnessed. And so it was that all 800 souls died, poisoned by their own king, a king who had once been known for his wisdom and fairness. In the end, Tigranes inherited his father's kingdom, but his reign would be marked by tragedy. Soon after, Rome invaded again, and Tigranes, believing that his father's spirit was haunting him, took his own life. Was King Artashes the victim of his own fears, a victim of circumstance? Or was he a villain who orchestrated this charade to manipulate his family and court? Historians argue to this day. Whatever the truth, he went down in history as the mad king who forced everyone to drink poison. But maybe he wasn't mad. Maybe he was simply a man who knew that by making everyone around him share his fate, he could finally be truly free.